I've wasted months listening to bad advice and tweaking things on my videos that didn't even matter. But I will say I did eventually figure out some really good tips. And here I'm going to give you that brutal, honest advice that I wish I had gotten when I first started. If you're new here, I'm Ricky. I have a full-time job, like many of you. I volunteer in the community. I have a family at home, but yet I still find time to create quality content and quality videos in the pocket times of free time that I have to be able to share with you guys. And my hopes here is to share with you some of those things I've learned in the hundreds of videos that I've posted, whether they got 5 views or they've got 20,000 views or whatever they have been over the course of my multiple channels. In the beginning, when I first started looking to want to start my first channel, I did like many of you are doing and watching a lot of videos and trying to decide whether or not I should actually start doing a channel. And I'd watch a lot of these big time creators, who have some amazing content and have a lot of amazing advice out there. But a lot of their advice was based off of, they've got 1 million views. The things that they're working on for their videos now are not the same things that they were working on when they first started out. And so I would see these lists of things and I'd see all these major cuts and all these major B-rolls and how they would shift into things and beautiful studios. And it just totally overwhelmed me. And so I would think, oh, I've got to do that. I need to replicate what they're doing in order to be good, in order to get views. And so I would spend so much of my time in the beginning trying to spend hours and hours and hours making the perfect cuts, making the perfect B-roll footages, trying to add in all of these other types of things for it, um, in order to try to get what I was thinking at the time was a good quality video. As you start to see more and more people on YouTube start to get, a lot of traction in their channels, you learn that it's not necessarily always about how pretty or how perfect, the videos are. Sometimes it's about what's the content? What are you giving? Are you providing a good quality of video for that? Because there's just as many people out there that get big in their channels that aren't doing anything fancy other than sitting and talking to a camera in a bedroom. Or one gentleman that I've seen before, is wearing overalls, sitting out on his farm, giving advice, but he's giving great information and great news. So let's dig into the 5 tips of the things that I've learned from posting hundreds of videos on YouTube. Tip number 1, don't focus on subscribers in the beginning. When you're first starting out, yes, you're sitting there and you're watching your subscriber count, and you're really trying to tell yourself whether or not, that means that you're doing good videos or not, if you're getting a lot of subscribers. But in the beginning, don't worry about that. Try to work on focusing on providing good content in your videos and really dialing into your niche so that you're really focusing on what it is you have to offer on YouTube. There's so many videos and so many people posting stuff on YouTube. And so what makes your information different from what others are doing? And if you can do that, then you're going to get watch time, you're going to get views. And that's really what matters in the beginning, because when you're first really getting going, people have to build confidence in you in order to be able to decide that your content is something that they want to see on a regular basis, which means that they want to subscribe. And so it may take some time to build that trust with the audience and build that with your viewers. And so don't take offense in the beginning if you're getting decent amount of views and you're getting, watch time where people are actually sticking through and listening to your content. Then that the information is actually good and that you're holding their attention. Also in the beginning, YouTube and the algorithm is really focusing on trying to determine who your audience is, right? You have to kind of help them in the beginning by doing really good descriptions, having a good title, uh, building a good thumbnail that gets people to click on your videos, and making sure that your content is really kind of focused so that when the algorithm's pushing your video out to people, it's hopefully finding the viewers that really resonate and work with your content. So in the beginning, it's pushing out to a bunch of different people and trying to build that viewer that viewer list of people that maybe have an interest in your niche and what you're trying to share. So in the beginning, the important part is that you're getting it out to the right people, and that you're starting to gain their interest, which means that they're actually watching your videos. As you do that, and if you can continue to post more and more videos that still feed to that same audience and that stick to that same niche, then you're going to eventually build that trust with your audience, and they're going to eventually subscribe to your channel and help you continue to do that as you go on. So in the beginnings, don't worry about whether or not you're getting subscribers or not. All right, number 2, forget about perfection. So many of the people that I've watched over the years, like when you really dial back on there, like of course, if you look at their brand new videos, you're seeing a really dialed in product. Some of these people have been doing this for decades. Look at Think Media and some of those big ones that, big channels that have stuff out there, like they've been doing this for a long time. And so, of course, they've got a dialed in product and a really amazing video that they're doing now. But go and look back at the stuff they did 10 years ago. Look at those. They'll all tell you that in the beginning, they weren't really that good. But what they were doing, though, is not being afraid to get started. You, if you've got something that you feel like you want to share with the audience and with a bigger group of people and a bigger amount of viewers, then do it. Whether that's sharing your vacations or your travel life, or that's sharing advice on finance or advice on building a YouTube channel, whatever that may be. If you've got something that you feel that it's of quality, and you really have dialed into that niche and tried to make it different from what others may be putting out there, then you've got a good product to do, and you should definitely, absolutely go and post that information and put it out there. And don't focus on whether or not it's perfect. Don't spend, like I did in the beginning, 20, 30 hours on one video trying to make it perfect. Get out there, post it, and then the trick really is try to get better with every new video you do. Like, what can I do better on the next video, on the list of things that maybe I didn't like that I did on the last video? Was my audio bad in one of my previous videos? And so can I work through something to try to make my audio better in future videos? So I promise, if you really just focus on building solid content that people want to see and they want to watch, and that you're being able to teach somebody something, and then you work to better each of those videos, that is going to help you in the long run. You're going to get comfortable in front of the camera. You're going to get comfortable making the shots, and maybe even how you're doing it, and learning to do it a little bit more professional. For those of you that are interested, I've got another video that talks about how to really do more professional shots, how to make your videos more professional so that you get more views. So you can check that one out if you want to kind of get into that. So let's go into tip number 3, titles and thumbnails. That's where it's at. Everything is about titles and thumbnails when it comes to YouTube. Almost every creator out there that's giving advice on having YouTube channels will tell you titles and thumbnails is one of the biggest things that you've got to focus on. Think of it like going shopping in town. Right? You're walking down the street, you're trying to decide, who am I going to spend my money with? Who am I going to give my time to by going into the store? Or even who has what I'm looking for, right? And a lot of times the way we make that determination is based off of the storefront windows. And so if a store doesn't have really good windows, or they've blacked out all their windows, or got stuff going on, you don't really know what's going on in there. And so unless you've have an established relationship with them, you may not walk into their store, right? Versus the store that's got all of their best products out showcased in the windows, that catches your attention, that goes, oh, wow, yes, I'm looking for that, or oh, I would love to go and try that on. And so that entices you to go into their store, right? So, same thing in YouTube. YouTube is a searchable, and we all sit there and we scroll through our YouTube searches. So whether we're sitting on our home page and we're not certain what we're wanting to look for, so we're not searching topics. So whether maybe we don't know what we're wanting to search for, and maybe we're scrolling through our home page, which is based, our homepage is based off of the algorithm of all of our past searches, and it's the algorithm attempting to find other videos that are similar to what we've looked for in the past, to get us to look at something that we may be interested in, right? So we're scrolling through, and it's almost always the thumbnail that catches our attention first. And then normally that title then kind of sells us to actually clicking into the content. So you really want to make sure that you're focused on doing that. In the beginning, I will say I did like many others. I didn't really do thumbnails well. There wasn't some advice that I had come across, or even was researching really well. And so I was really bad about making my thumbnails really busy. If I saw empty space, I was like, oh, let's fill it. Or I was putting really long sentence words, or, 5, 10, words or so on my thumbnail. I didn't know about things like contrast and how to catch the eye and what colors to potentially use. So really and truthfully, I would say spend a little bit of time researching on how to do proper thumbnails, because you really want that thumbnail to pop and to catch attention. And you want it simple and basic. Almost everybody talks about keep it simple. You don't need super busy, distracting thumbnails. And if you're going to put words on it, a lot of people don't these days. They just put a picture of what they're doing. But some people, a lot of people do still put words on it. But if you do, just keep it simple. 2 to 3, maybe 4 words max. And you don't even need, like, a lot of times in a lot of the mistakes that I would make in the past would be I would try to make the words on my thumbnail be similar to what I was putting in my title. Um, so what I would tell you is that, you know, they're meant to be a pair, and so they should be partners. So you really don't need to do that. You want your thumbnail and your title to really pair together, right? And so the things that can be on your thumbnail can just be part of that helping to get attention, right? How many thumbnails have we seen where it says something that starts that curiosity loop for us? How many times have we seen a thumbnail where we're not even certain what the words that were on the thumbnail and how it related, but it started kind of that curiosity loop for us, which then made you look at the title, which then, if the title was done really well and helped really sell home a little bit more of that curiosity loop, uh, what you really want to do is you want to have where it starts off making people curious. Then once they've clicked on the video, then that's where you've really got to sell the content, right? You've got to have a good quality video to keep them in the video. And there's many techniques for that we talk about, and that I'll post more on that. If you have an interest in wanting me to post more about more details about thumbnails and titles, leave a comment down below, and we'll look at that being one of our future videos that we do coming up. So let's get to tip number 4. You're gonna be awkward in the beginning. It's okay. Yeah, you eventually, it's like anything else we do in life. Repetition creates experience, right? The more we do something, the more you get used to it. The more you talk to a camera, the more you get used to talking to a camera. The less likely you're going to have mess ups, the more you're going to be able to continue to just talk about a topic, especially if you're picking and you're really dialing into that niche, like we talked about, where you've got a lot of experience to bring on that. Then it makes it a lot easier to be able to do that. But either way, you want to just start. You need to get going in the beginning. and just practice. Like I said, I talked in the before tips that it's not going to be exactly perfect, but you just have to you have to start and get going. If you've got something that you have an interest in and you really want to put some information, and you really want to put it out there, then do it. And like, it doesn't have to be perfect. Learn to be a little better every time with each video. I've practiced this for many times. I always kind of look back. I try to, like I said, especially being a full-time employer and family and having all kinds of other things going on in my life, I don't always, have tons of time to put towards YouTube and my love for being able to create. And so I do a lot of things to help shorten that time that I spend kind of doing it so that I can get videos done uh, in a more professional manner, quicker, and to be able to not have to take so much of my time to do it. So it sets me up for success. But I know that I'm going to have mistakes in some of that. And so, but that's okay. You have to get comfortable being uncomfortable, in front of the camera and recording. And so that you work through these kind of things so that you're continuing to get better as you go along. And so normally what I do is I like to, when I'm looking over some of my past videos, is I just like to find some of the things that I feel like I could have done better and where was those opportunities for growth, and then pick one of those topics and work to figure out how I can do better in the next video on that. So pick something on your last videos and let that be how you work to create and do that better in your future videos. All right, last and final tip, tip number 5. Your growth in the beginning is gonna be weird. No matter how many people I found that I would watch videos on and telling me how to, properly techniques to have growth and to get your videos watched and to get more views for stuff. You always in the beginning, it seems to be just have this weird sense of things. And I always had a hard time really trying to figure it out. Because I might post, 10 or 20 videos over the course of a few months, and then maybe in the beginning, I start off and I only have a handful of views here or 100 views there. Or maybe I get lucky and all of a sudden I get 3,000 views on this one video. And I go, oh, great. And that makes me feel great. And it kicks in the endorphins of stuff. And you're just like, oh, this is awesome. Um, but then I go to post a similar video that was what I thought to be very similar to what that one previous was. And then it only gets a handful of views again. It's challenging in the beginning. Like I said, the algorithm is really trying to figure out who your view base is early on, and so it is sending your video out to a lot of different areas. It's trying to utilize the metadata that you've put into your video, whether in your description or your title or other things, to help know which audience to put it out for in front of. But it's not always getting it right in the beginning. And so you may have those occasional ones where you win the views lottery, in a sense where like I've had a couple videos that, got 10,000 views in a few days, and but then all of a sudden stopped, so like the more you learn about some of this, the more you learn, that there is some oddness and some luck sometimes to it. Not to say that there's not a lot of science. I mean, a lot of people put a lot into, having proper techniques on how to make channels and stuff for that. And I even have a lot of advice on how to help you get professional and quality video, help you to get more professional quality videos, and which will of course then help you have better content and then also help you get more views. But just know, don't let that discourage you. Don't let it, to me, I know in the past it did for me at sometimes. So that was one thing I just really wish somebody would have told me in the beginning was, don't let that kind of thing bother you. Just stick with really, really trying to provide and do really quality content. Like I said, you want something that, people want to watch. Make sure that you're dialing in that niche and getting it into the information of what people want to see, and the rest will kind of come. And if you can stay consistent with your videos, that's a lot of the challenging things too, especially for those of us that are full-time workers. You know, one of the biggest challenges I think I had over the years was learning how to be a little bit more consistent, learning how to schedule, learning how to do a lot of that too as well. So I've spent a good bit of time trying to dial in some of that, and I've even got some videos on my channel that talk about, you know, how to properly set your schedule and how to be a full-time worker and a part-time creator, and how to juggle the two and how to really still get, you know, decent views and still get your content out in front of people. So that's it, guys. I mean, like I said, it's not really that difficult. You know, ultimately you need to get your videos out there, get your content out there. Don't be afraid to do it. Don't be like me and sit back and take forever to decide to jump in and do it. Just do it. I've got plenty of videos on, you know, especially here at Pocket Creator, we really specialize on being able to provide quality videos and professional looking content with the bare minimum. You know, I almost all my gear I can carry around in a pocket so that I can go to amazing places like this. So it's definitely possible for anybody, whether you're on the go in the city or you're on the go in travels and you want to be able to create good quality videos on the go. I'm definitely, this is definitely the channel for you. We've got a lot of good content that will help you get started, help you know how you can get going without spending a lot of money for that. So if you made it this far, you're probably like me. You either wasn't sure whether or not you wanted to start, or you're a small channel and you're trying to figure out how to do better and to learn lessons. And if you've enjoyed the content of what we've had here so far, hit subscribe, because I'm going to spend a good bit of time sharing all of this information that I've learned over the years. Like I said, I'm a small creator. I am not anything huge. I don't do this full time, but I do have a lot of information that I've learned over the last couple of years that I think could be beneficial to you guys as you start your channels. So appreciate your time, and see you guys again on the next one.